Hey guys, today the guest is Chef Rush. He cooked for 4 different presidents: Obama, Bill Clinton, Trump. The list goes on. He's been through a lot in his life. He's got a lot to bring to the table and tons of parallels with fighting. Make sure you tune in. This guy is very successful in life.
Dominick, the Dominator!
That is the dark sides of us that don't work, but they work perfectly for war.
You can love somebody and still beat them up.
Chef, so I wanted to go through a little bit of your content. Like, you're not just a master chef. You're also, I don't know what the hell this is. It's a professional ice carver. I wouldn't even know where to begin.
A master ice carver.
Yeah, what is, a what?
A master ice carver.
Excuse me. Okay, so what's the difference, right?
That means I can carve ice really quick, really fast, really precise. Like this block was done in 30 minutes and it was done, I think it was Minnesota out there when we were doing the thing when we brought the country over, and I had all the guys trained there, and I wanted to just do something special for them.
Yeah, but you got to be able to like draw in the first place. Can you draw?
I can draw. I can draw.
Like you have
I got a mindset.
You have to really be an actual artist. You can't. This is crazy. Like, how do you actually even learn this? Who teaches this?
I was actually self-taught with this.
Of course you were.
Of course.
Right?
Who's not?
Yeah. With a butter knife, right? You taught yourself with a butter knife and a spoon?
Knife, with a P one. Paring knife.
Holy cow. All right. And look, this is why you got to show who you are and why you're successful. This is what makes you different. There's not a lot of chefs that are just coming at with this type of energy.
Those are my guys. I appreciate them because they let me hit them a little bit and beat them up.
Yeah, that's what
which I love it.
But then you're smiling at the end of it.
Yeah.
So it's the mixture. And
that's what the kids love. You know, you get the hard part and they see the fun part and they're like, oh.
But it's just energy. Like energy. A lot of chefs, when you watch chefs, they're kind of mean.
Yeah.
The end.
True.
They're very dry. And you could see here from these videos, this is where you've gotten the most famous, would you say, from these short clips and stuff that you've done?
Yeah.
And that's then gone out to other stuff.
Yeah.
So that's a good profile for anybody else to look at too. I mean, how hard are these to make? This is just being creative and having fun, no?
Just having fun. Just looking at cooking a whole different perspective and how to do it and going bigger. Bigger is always better. That's what I say.
Yeah, like
bigger to buy yourself.
Tim the Two-Man Taylor.
Tim, I love that show.
That's where you get it, man. That's the era. You got about 12 years on me, so. Man, you just made some amazing content. And I don't know how you even come up with this stuff. You think of all this yourself? You produce this?
You know what? We all kind of come together with it. Some probably bring something, then another, then it just comes out of the woodwork.
So first you find the people that you want to make a video with.
A lot of times, actually, knock on wood, everybody's always found me.
Really? So they reach out to you and they go, I want to make a video with you because of how you show up.
Yep. And so you notice each person is demographically different. And so I can fit into those things. So the first thing I do analytically is I go through and look at their best videos, and they're between, 7, 8, 9. Some of them are a couple billion for a video.
See, you get to come together with competitors and actually work together to make something beautiful. Whereas when I work with a competitor, we're doing the same thing, except we're trying to kill each other. I look at it the same way.
Same thing,
I really
thing.
do. Like, without us coming together, that doesn't happen, right?
True.
Super weird how that works. Man, I'll take one of those right now.
I eat them all.
Which one?
Yes, literally.
That's got to be the best part, is when you're done getting to eat, right? Because you make some bomb food. Man, the ice sculpture stuff, though, that's different. I don't know how you even...
I don't know. That was me being young and just hungry, Never know how to work a chainsaw, and someone gave me one. I'm like, oh, shit. A big block eye.
You never watched anybody?
No, I saw someone do it one time, a year prior.
Yeah, but... Like, my brain, there's no way I could make a horse out of that. How do you even, how do you think of that?
I don't know.
Where does this
come? Literally, this comes. I'm an anime person, so I love anime. So one of my things also, I go to Japan, I play Baki, I play Mr. Olivia.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Right? Yeah.
The boxer.
Yeah.
From that.
From Baki, yeah. So I'm that guy. So everybody knows me from that. So
that makes sense.
I love different demographics and culture where you can insert yourself in, so that's why I kind of do like a 360. I want to go around the whole world and do everything from the culture to the content to the TV shows, documentaries, to this, that. So
well, it's inspiring because you showed me where I could put on some more hats too. So thank you. I think the biggest reason why I'm excited to talk to you is because I'm a big advocate for the military, especially right now, this day and age. I think that you can't. I think that we as civilians can't appreciate the military enough, especially with the things we're trying to do to create safety in the world. And that's where you started. You were a reservist in this, not where you started, but where you were young and you really, from what I've heard about you, that's where you really started to pick up the tempo in your life, was when you jumped into the reserves, and then you branched off from there. But maybe you could tell us a little what pushed you into that first, into becoming a reservist, because that's not an easy choice.
Well, actually, I was only a reservist for a very small stint, and then I jumped right into the military.
Yeah.
I did it because, in life, especially as a young kid, you want some direction, dimensions, you want foresight of what you're going to do, how you're going to do it. I grew up in the projects in Mississippi, so we didn't have a lot of money, didn't have a lot of opportunities. But actually, I had a few opportunities because I had scholarships for track, football, art, was on the schedule for the Olympics. But at the same time, back then, because of demographics, it was just like, I need to work. What am I going to do? So my dad was kind of old school, like, boys go to work, girls go to school. Since then, I've been to school and got a lot of degrees and whatnot, but it was just like a check off. So coming to the military, it was 8 of us in my family. So my other older family members was in the Merchant Marines, my brother was in the Navy, and they were like 10, 11, 12 years older or more. And I wanted to do something that was meaningful to me without telling them, beyond to them, that they didn't know. So I just joined because I wanted to have something of my own and do something of my own.
And now you're ultra successful. So how do you find that at that time?
When I got into the military, it wasn't what I expected. I was already there. The cooking part, people were like, why are you doing cooking? You're a big guy. You could do
right
this and that.
That's
right,
what you chose.
Oh my God. Yeah, right off the bat. Well,
so
infantry.
Military, cooking.
Yeah. Well, infantry, military, come on. Like you said earlier, I've had choice to go to by name requests for Delta, Special Ops, whatnot.
Yeah.
I actually kind of chose to stay where I am because I know for a fact I've been to Iraq, Afghanistan twice, blown up 9/11 when the Pentagon hit. I knew I would have lost myself. I knew 100%.
Unless you stayed in cooking.
That's I stayed in. Well,
Like
I wasn't cooking per se. I did a lot of special details, right? I mean, special details from being like security, PMP management, started working for a lot of high dignitaries, got my clearance very early on, my TSSCI, which was, amazing, which I still clean for over 30 years, 20 plus years rather. And it kind of set my tempo for what I want to do, because the one thing I tell people younger, always be around people that's smarter than you. Don't be around people that has the same mindset as you. Yeah. And I was around the smartest people in the world, even though I had my country twang, which I actually had to get rid of and kind of be able to articulate to them. So I just sucked everything up from them, which actually led me to my success to today.
Well, it sounds like you knew you were choosing the military, and then you found the ways around the real heart that, like, you knew you could do the infantry, you knew you could go be there, but you wanted to find the ways around so you didn't lose yourself in the military part of maybe going special forces, special ops. You didn't want to lose yourself there.
Well, I still lost myself.
Yeah,
in the military.
We all do something
exactly. But in the military, I didn't go over to Iraq to cook. I didn't go over. I wanted to, we're men. We still deep down inside, we want to do those things that kind of separate us from others.
But you were, though, because you're doing it through success rather than out on the field and with numbers of deaths or whatever, right? You decide to go a different direction.
Somewhat. On that part of it.
Well, where did you get these details?
The Legion of Merit is the highest peacetime which you can receive, and the bronze was combat on that part.
Okay.
Right. So I did go over a few times and
lose yourself a little bit.
Lost myself a few times. Yeah, a few times.
And that's the war part that we can talk about. Yeah,
that's the war part. But also 9/11, when the plane hit, that was a big part of it. That was when I actually developed, PTSD, PTS as they call it now. But that was when I truly kind of lost myself, because a lot of those DOD guys that were older than me, those cops, those special forces, those other guys, we worked out and trained together, and unfortunately, they lost their lives.
Yeah. I'm sorry to hear that. And that's probably the hardest thing to deal with is the close people to you when you build that camaraderie and brotherhood. And then that's the PTSD stuff, no question. And I would ask, well, that's kind of why I asked you early, because I pictured kind of that happening to me in my forefront for some reason, because I know how I am.
Absolutely.
Because of wrestling. I had that brother, and I'm like, I'm going to recreate that in the military if I leave this world. What made you not take the scholarships? Like, what scholarships did you have offered, right, that you gave up to go to the military? This episode is brought to you by IQ Bar, our exclusive snack, hydration, and coffee sponsor. IQ Bar protein bars, IQ Mix hydration mixes, and IQ Joe mushroom coffees are delicious, low-sugar brain and body fuel you need to win your day. The reason why I love them the most is for on the go. All three of these, you could literally use all three at one time. Eat the protein bar, drink it down with some of the electrolyte IQ Mix, and then follow it up with some of the IQ Joe for the energy before you head into practice. You've got a meal with all three of them, and instead of skipping a meal, which puts your body into holding on to everything, you get your body flowing with these nice, healthy, light snacks. Use them all together, get the metabolism moving. I also recommend, if you like to do a fasted workout, these are all great tools, because instead of completely fasting, you can just snack a little and it doesn't make you tired when you start the workout for the warm-up and stuff. The Ultimate Sampler Pack is a great way to try all IQ Bars products and flavors. You get 9 IQ bars, 8 IQ Mix sticks, and 4 IQ Joe sticks. All IQ Bar products are clean label certified and entirely free of gluten, dairy, soy, GMOs, and artificial ingredients. And right now, IQ Bar is offering our special podcast listeners 20% off of all IQ Bar products, including the Ultimate Sampler Pack, plus free shipping. To get your 20% off, text DOM to 64,000. Text DOM to 64,000. That's DOM, DOM to 64,000. Message and data rates may apply. See the terms for details. So let me tell you about Lucy, 100% pure nicotine, always tobacco-free. Lucy Breakers are nicotine pouches with an extra surprise. Each pouch holds a capsule that can be broken open to release extra flavor and hydration. Set yourself up with a subscription and have Lucy delivered straight to your door. The flavor that I've been trying lately has been the berry citrus. The nicotine in it is nice when it's mixed with that berry flavor that breaks open. That's what's different about these Lucy's, is it breaks open kind of like a gusher with nicotine. So I like to use the 4, the 8, or the 12. Depends on who I'm talking to, right? If I'm talking to my boss, you want to pack the 14 or 2 of the 12s, right? Because you want to make sure you're hearing them, but you're kind of like floating while they're talking, because then you're much happier to talk to them. Whereas if you're trying to talk to somebody who is an easy conversation, you want to make sure you're listening to them, lower the dosage a little bit. Lucy's the only pouch that gives you long-lasting flavor whenever you need it. Get 20% off your first order when you buy online with code DOM. And if you don't want to wait, just head to lucy.co/stores to find Lucy near you and grab it today. And here comes the fine print. Lucy products are only for adults of legal age, and every order is age verified. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. Originals Family Farm is the original sponsor for this podcast to get us jumping off the ground. And I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for the early support. The first fans, the first people to have my back before this thing even took off, Original Family Farms. I'll always remember and love you for that. Thanks so much for making me part of the family.
Football, track, and art.
Why not go to college? Why not go that way?
Honestly, it just wasn't in my foresight. I never thought about it. All my sisters, all of them went to college right away. None of the boys did. It was 3 of us at the time.
You all went military?
The boys, Merchant Marine and Navy, right?
Yeah. So maybe your pops had a little to do with this. No?
Well, yeah. I mean, it was kind of embedded in us, kind of like that servitude, because all my sisters, military also, Air Force, Colonel, brother, Navy officer. My other was, educators and so forth, so on. So everybody has that tenure of support and giving.
Man, when I listen to you, it sounds like very young, because your dad was so hard and had you so tough, and your mom was so loving that, they say opposites attract. It sounds like your mom and your dad were like the yin and the yang, and they gave you a really even balance, it sounds like.
Absolutely. You
to an extent, because
right on the head.
When I listen to you, you've now taken that balance and you took it to the military and you used it cooking. Also, I'll murder you if I need to, kind of balance there. And then you left there and now you've just taken it to TikTok. You've taken it to the social media presence you've had. You've taken the balance because they call you the gentle, mean guy chef, right?
Yeah.
Like the kids and stuff. I've been looking up some of your stuff and you have a huge children following. That's probably your biggest following, no?
I mean, chill bumps, because yesterday I was at the Fit Expo for the last 2 days and I literally took 2,000 pictures and it was all kids.
Yeah.
Their parents come to me and say, my 6-year-old son knows you, my 3-year-old daughter knows you, my this, that. So I have like 57% out of almost 20 million of just kids. And I'm so blessed about that because he did that. One thing you probably don't know is I had an unfortunate thing with my daughter, who was 11, and her 5 and 6-year-old brother, right over 2 years ago. So, like I said, I was very blessed and successful. I was with Gordon Ramsay. I did MasterChef. I did my TV shows, and since then I've done Netflix shows in Korea and Japan, and have shows here. And I've been so gracious, but I wasn't satisfied. But during my whole tenure of all the success, I've had so many trials. Those trials that you say, why me? I had a lot of, so one of my biggest advocates is suicide awareness, mental health. He took care of me with this one. So it was one of the things I had to do. I was on my way to New York City to see Gordon Ramsay for a closeout for my show. Got a call from my daughter's mother, which were great. She was a sergeant major in the military. We were great friends, had a great relationship. My daughter's 11, her 5 and 6-year-old brother, which is from her husband, which he was military as well. He had just retired. She's retiring. She calls me. She tells me a story about, to sum it up, that she was getting ready to get out the military, and her husband, which they since had divorced, but they were living, co-parenting, great co-parenters. And he came to her house one night because he had access to it when one of the other soldier members, or sergeant major, was coming to give us some paperwork. Well, he just walked in, and unfortunately, he went to the back of the house where they were because he had some pets, wanted to use the restroom, and he shot the guy 7 times from behind, and ran upstairs to his boys, 5 and 6, which he loved to death. Their mother ran up and he pointed the gun at her. She ran down, small town in North Carolina. Long story short, what that was, he ran back up to check on them because it's the boys, his kids. And he ran up the stairs and met him, and he shot himself in the head. Wow. She ran into the room, the boys in the bed asleep, and the boys in the bed asleep, and she checked on him, and he had put a bullet in both of the back of their heads. And my daughter's in the next room, and which he loved her. So she went over there and they put a bullet in the back of her head, and then he took his own life. At the time I'm actually on a plane. Luckily I was in a...
And this has been 2 years ago.
Yeah, like 2 years ago. And be who we are, is me crying my butt off, but the first question I had to ask her before my plane I lost service was, just tell me they didn't know it was him. That's all I wanted to know. There's nothing else I could change. Mm-hmm. The thing that I thought about the most was that I know him. I know his sons. I know my daughter. My daughter loved him. His sons loved him. And he loved them. He showed it every day. Yeah. Right? Military. He served diligently. He retired. And I didn't want that to be the last sight they see of the man that they had been with for 5, 6, and 11 years, or my daughter less, of course, but that was the person that did it to him. She told me it wasn't, but later on from the autopsy, the only person that didn't know was the first one, which was the 5-year-old. But the 6-year-old and my daughter, they had woken up and saw him. So,
and at that point, first of all, thanks for sharing that, because that's, you never know whose lives you shift when they hear this, because, you got guys in the UFC like Ngannou who's lost his child recently. And, and you're not to share it though. It can empower people, because vulnerability is one of the most powerful things we have. And, you being as tough and as strong as you are, that's why it's powerful when you can share things from a vulnerable place, because you have the balance. And that's what's fascinating about a guy like you. I think that's what pulls people in, is you can kind of I just met you recently, and you have a very healthy balance of both empathy, compassion, but also, yeah, I'll break your neck if I need to because I got that from my father. And I think what I'm listening to is the hardest thing for you is not having control, number one, and trying to find the control in, like, could I at least have the control of knowing that they weren't scared or hurt by the person that they trusted before they
you're absolutely right. I mean, to me, I'm a logical person. Those are the things I think of right away. I can cry, and unfortunately I've had a few suicides in my life. Not like this one, of course, very close, but like you said, with that balance of it is, the one thing is you can't stop.
Yeah.
Right? You know, if you see my videos, I love to have fun. I vicariously have this persona of making kids laugh and get around me with the comfortability for it. And from that part of it, it not only winged out from Maha to the White House to the Chamber of Congress to, you know, everybody calling me over, from the military to political to everyone saying, come speak, come do this, come do that. Because this is not a sad story.
Yeah.
This is a life story, right? It's each and every last one of us going through something. You know, it's not like, oh, woe is me. Don't feel sorry for me or take anything from my words that I'm saying. I'm saying to you right now, just look out for signs.
Yeah.
Look out, not only in other people and other people to other friends, family members or whatnot, but in yourself. So you got to know you first.
Yeah. When you're sharing, I don't hear any kind of sad story. I hear you empowering people that, hey, this happened and it didn't. Yes, I can hear sometimes you feel like it happened to you, but you've got a mindset of it happened for you in certain ways, because now it sounds like you've used that energy to give back, and you're giving back so much right now to kids, and you're using the sadness to shift it into a place of giving, because otherwise it eats you alive and kills you.
No, I'm laughing because when that happened, I had probably like 130,000 subscribers. And so me, like I said, I have to think of things logically. And I said, after my daughter and her brothers left, I need more kids. That's all I did. Prayed on it. Like I said, he's taking care of me from day one.
Wow.
And I literally stopped, looked at everything I had, and said, I want to go on social media for me this time. I've always been as a presence of doing things for other people and so forth, but never for me. I wasn't allowed to have social media. So I went and I looked at it, and I looked at everything, how to do it, what to do, how to do it, so forth. And I tacked it all in one day at one time, from LinkedIn to YouTube to this, to that. I had no followers on YouTube, I had no followers on my Facebook. And in 5 days, a million.
5 days from what? It sounds like something triggered you and you just locked.
5 days when I put my first post up to say it's for me. In 5 days, each one of those accounts had 1 million subscribers all the way across the board.
And what do you think did that? Like, the reason why I'm asking is because, you know, people are trying to find success on the internet right now. True. People are trying to find success in their business. I'm trying to find success in my business. The similarities that I see with being a chef and being a fighter is it's a tapped market that everybody wants to be in, especially right now. Right?
Oversaturated.
Oversaturated. There's 1 million chefs. There's 1 million. I want to be a prize fighter. I want to be a UFC champ, right? And the question is, how do you be different? How do you get ahead? You know, and you're explaining that, okay, in 5 days after, nobody does that. Nobody posts something, their first post, and they get millions of followers or whatever. So what was it that made you different in those 5 posts where nobody else is doing it but you are?
You know, it's going to sound kind of crazy on it is, I like I said, I prayed on this one. You know, I prayed for it. I did it, and it was for my daughter. It was for her brothers, and not only them, but everyone else that was for it. So they
were the beginning catalyst.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So the fire from that loss and that pain shifted you into what mentality to start creating that, to give?
To give. But here's the thing. I couldn't do it in a way of how I felt. I had to do it in a way, like I said beforehand, I looked at everything, people, reactions, this and that, audience. Here's the thing about the audience, unfortunately now, if you do something negative, it goes everywhere. If you do something positive, it goes nowhere. You know, you have to have that whole part about that. Negative can get anything. You have 10 followers and do something negative and you got a 10 million right now.
Okay, so you figured out how people's brains work with negative and positive to an extent. And so how did you lock into the negative without being negative? Because you don't come off as a negative person.
No, I'm not.
So it's like, and even in your videos and stuff and your persona, your way of being is not negative. So how do you tap into that not being it?
Well, that's the part about it. You got to be strategic. So subliminal, I have message in all my videos, and they're all messages for the kids about the bullying, anti-bullying, have fun, your friends, the this and that. Like I put a video up with a little poo-poo, a little doll a day, and I nursed him back to, you know, life, and then he got healthy and he left me a note saying, I love you, see you. And I'm like, asshole, you know, and he left, and it's a funny video. People laugh at it, and they can relate to it. Like, okay, that was wholesome, you know? So you want things where people can look at it and see, especially kids, what you say, like, is my whole world, is to say, okay, I can relate. The question you asked, I got a million questions yesterday from kids that came to see my thing. And one of the questions was, I want to be a chef. And all men, all guys, all boys. How do I start? What do I want to do? I said, first off, be yourself. I said, and the thing about it is, I said to one of the last ones is, you got some great chefs in the world and they all over. But you also have a lot of guys on social media that can't cook at all and you know all their names. And he's like, oh, you got a point.
Personality.
Yeah, I'm not the best chef in the world, but I'm where the best chef wants to be. Yeah. It's not about being the best cook or chef in the world. It's about having the best energy in the world. Because I want to be around. I don't care if you did a Michelin star meal for me or you did that. I love it. I used to do it. I competed all over. I want to sit down. I want to feel like I felt when I was with my mom or my grandma I never met. When I just feel, oh man.
Yeah, you're using cooking and food to bring the nostalgia back to home and family
exactly.
and love and just what everybody can tap into from food. Same thing is similar to music. Like
True,
that's what
exactly.
Tap into music.
100%.
And it's interesting to hear you talk about it because, you talk with passion like an artist talks about music.
True.
And the reason why I say this is because in fighting, the parallel is how do I stand out from other fighters when we're all just fighters? Well, I got to have a passion bigger than me. I got to want to show up different. I got to want, you look at any athlete and how do they really stand apart? They build a personality and build a brand.
It's about your personality and brand.
Because everybody can fight.
It's true. Like everybody can cook. Exactly.
This is what I mean.
It's who you're going to be, how you're going to be it.
And I've said this because when I watch your videos, it's like, of course, I know your food tastes good.
Yeah.
But it's like any chef you see on TV, you're like, yeah, their food tastes good or they wouldn't be there. So that's like now that's the stage. Like that's
True.
it. Yes, of course. And of course, when I get to the UFC, of course you can fight. Of course they're the best fighter. But what makes them different from the best fighters? What makes you different from the best chef? And what I'm hearing is your infusion of the loving side of your mom to bring the kids aboard, but also the militant side of your dad to not be too soft. Like you have that, it's like a mean softness.
It's true.
Right?
It's true. I mean, we all have it in us. And the thing about it is, and you can relate to this even more so as a fighter, we all have that energy inside us, that sometimes we want to release, but we have to also control it all the time because I don't want to be around negative energy anymore.
Yeah.
I can't deal with it. I don't care if it's friends or family or individuals. I just don't want to do with it because.
Well, you don't have to.
Yeah, exactly.
You can choose positive.
And that's
around.
the whole point.
You
because you're taking in so much energy from everyone, So I'm taking in energy from thousands of people. I can't waste my time on one person like that.
Well, I'll tell you what I hear from you is people, when I listen to you, you don't have to take in negative energy because they're there with you. You're not there with the people. So let's say there is nothing but negative energy. You are going to be the thing that shifts it. So how can negative energy can't really shift to you if you're creating the environment,
True.
Right? A light doesn't walk into a room. If it's a light and you take it into a room, it doesn't complain about lighting up the dark. It just shows up.
That's true.
And somewhat, that's what it sounds like you encapsulate is being that in each area. But you have that sharpness and the darkness from the trauma. I call it flavoring. The trauma I've been through, I call it flavoring because at the end of the day, without that, I'm just bland. I'm just like everybody else. And it might not be the way I wanted to learn it, but I also say, watch what you ask for. And I wanted to be one of the best ever in the world. And I never thought of the fact that trying to be one of the best ever at anything means you're going to have you might want to watch what you ask for, because you're going to have to deal with some shit if you want to be the best ever.
It's true.
So a lot of times I look at it from a responsible point of view of like, man, at 2 years old, I had some traumatizing things to happen to me. At 5 years old, traumatizing things, right? I'm a child. Nobody should ever have to go through that. And, you know, I could be a victim of that, or I could take responsibility. It's not a fact, but it's a choice. And what I've learned through becoming successful is, man, I choose to take responsibility for that. And that's what made me a champion, was going through that trauma. And if I wanted to be one of the best ever, I didn't know I chose that for myself, but I did. And so I had to go through the hard shit.
No.
And it sounds like you wanted to be great. And so God made you great. God gave you what you wanted.
And that's
you
what
prayed
it is.
for it.
Yeah, is be careful what you ask for. So
Yeah,
when
isn't
you
that
get
great? Tyson said that too.
Yeah.
Tyson said, be careful what you ask for, because he might
Like
give
just-
you everything in the world that you want.
Yeah, but you got to be the one to handle it, you know,
But
and,
you
and that's
are.
a big responsibility.
Yeah.
And a lot of people like, I don't want anybody around me. What? Why did you ask for it?
Mm-hmm.
Why did you do this? Because you have some people that you can just help and lift up and inspire and do a whole world for. You know, that's the one thing that's big on. I'm around so many different people now, and I've had so many supporters, you know, from the beginning from Arnold Schwarzenegger to this person, that Terry Crews, all the people I idolize, and I still do, and I appreciate
Yeah, but
that.
a lot of us idolize these guys, man.
Yeah,
Why do
true.
you think they're coming to you? You're a magnet for this stuff. And the reason I ask this is because this is a real question. I feel like some people go, oh, they just got it. They're the
got it.
guy, and they just got lucky. All these Arnold Schwarzenegger's talking to him because he's buff. No, there's something else going on. And how are you responsible for creating all that? It wasn't just luck necessarily. There's parts of it, of course.
No, not luck, and you're right about that. I don't. The one thing that I don't do and I've never done is every person is created equal.
Yeah.
And even in culinary world, I when I teach people, I tell them, you know, they ask me about the president. Said, what do you cook for him? What did I said? You know, when I'll cook for the president or anyone, whatever, the level's this high. But if I cook for the homeless, the kids, the level's this high, right? Because I don't care about that part of it. It means that they get it all the time. These people who don't get it, those kids, they see you and they smile, and they're whoever, those homeless or whatnot. I was with Arnold giving out stuff for Veterans Day and giving out turkeys and giving out the other things of that part of it. And he does it all the time, every time. And he'll call me up, and I'm honored and humbled by it, because you get to do something and be part of something that's greater that you always believed in, that you wish you could do in the hundreds or the thousands or reaching out millions. So that's the part where I feed energy, because I'm just who I am. I don't ask for anything. I don't want anything. And people ask me all the time, Chef, what are you looking for? What do you want to do? How you want to do it? There comes a point in time when everything was nothing. And then he says, I'm giving you this for a reason. You have to get more to do more. And I'm like, oh, be more. So you put yourself into that situation where it comes 1,000 or 10,000 or 100,000 times fold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And I mean, the things that you've done is just crazy. You got a crazy bio. So Master Sergeant of the U.S. Army, and then culinary team, medals, trophies. Just the list goes on. I mean, you got papers on papers of the things that you've been successful in. What would you say of all your notoriety, you know, makes you that you're the most proud of? Because you have so many, you know, and what I constantly hear about you, and this is what I have in common, I think any championship mentality mindset is you get to the watering line, you get to the destination, and oh yeah, what's the next thing? And it's never really appreciate yourself for all that's been created. And I see, you know, this list, and that tells me you never look back at what you've done. And I think that also has to do with never looking back at the traumas that you've been able to actually power through with love.
You must be a psychic. You know what? You gave me chill bumps, because I've done some amazing things that even I look back and I'm like, wow, I did that. I mean, when? What happened? How? You know, from the peace medal, you know, I received in Belgium to, you know, the key to the city in my home.
Think about that.
You know, the whole.
I don't have a key to my city. What is a peace medal in Belgium?
Yeah, you know, people see.
What else?
You know,
think about it.
Oh my God, acclamations from, you know, California for suicide awareness, for mental health, and they're all packed up. They haven't been open. And I put them away and people say, why? Because I said, I'm not done. That's not anything where I need to just show 24/7 because I'm on the road. I did 800,000 miles last year. I was home 40 days last year, and each thing has a purpose and a meaning, and I'm still blessed to be able to do that part of it. Now, don't get me wrong. I appreciate each and every last one of them at that point in time where I'm going to sit back and I'm going to be really blessed and say, this is my personal story, my memoir,
so
my diary.
I have a theory as to why you wouldn't open up those gifts that you've created for yourself in the past. But my bigger question is, when do you think it would be done? If there was, like, how do you know? Like in fighting, it's simple. Like I always had in my head, I'm going to say 40. If I get to 40 and my body can handle it, we'll see where I'm at then. But I always said, I'm going to go from when I started 19 to 40. I'm just going to go till the wheels fall off as hard as possible. I'm going to sacrifice everything. I'm going to give up relationships. I'm going to give up. If my mom stands in my way, I'm going to have to tell her for that 20 years, get the hell out of the way. I'm going to push you out of the way. It had to be that way to get my mom hooked up later is how I looked at it. Like, she might know what I'm doing, but I'm going to hook you up later. I promise, Mom. Get out of my way for now. So, with all that focus, when is it going to be done for you? When is it enough to actually open up the presence of the things you created through love up till now?
Honestly, I think when I'm done.
That's my question. How do you know when you're done? In fighting, it's easy. In chefing, you could do this forever.
Well, that's my point. When I say when I'm done, it'll probably be on my dying day where I said, doing the things I've done where, like you said, if I can breathe and I can walk and I can keep doing this, and if he's going to keep blessing me with it or whatever, and I do have the support from different generations from the, all the guys I do support with and the videos with and whatnot who call me and say, Chef, come over here, or we're flying here to do this with you and that with you from different countries, different places. And that's the energy that I need. I feed off of that.
Yeah, you get the new stuff.
Exactly.
You use that to push.
Yes.
So then my question is there a possibility that the reason you don't open up all these accolades that you created and look back at them is because it's fueling you to not read them? It's fueling you to not look at them. It's fueling you to not give yourself a pat on the back about these things.
More so.
Yeah. And how many people can that relate to in any part of their life where you want to tell them, like you have children, right?
I do.
Would you tell them to go back and love themselves for the things they've created up till now? What would you tell them if they were you? What would your coaching be to them if they had done what you've done and they're your children?
What would I tell them about loving themselves or putting
With
it up
all this, would you tell them to go back and look at it, or would you tell them to keep ignoring it and keep looking forward and never give themselves any credit for it until they die on their dying bed?
I would tell them to look.
Yeah.
It's a different...
So why? Why would you tell them, but you won't?
Because it's a different world now. I'll be honest with you. Kids are a lot softer than what we were. If you're going back, even 30 years ago. Built different. There wasn't the internet or a thing or social media bullying. It wasn't the whole parts of it. And I have to fight a harder battle now, especially with kids. That's why they're included in everything I do with mental health, because everyone counts them out. And they have so many different things where I can't even imagine how it is right this moment.
Yeah, see, I don't know how to answer that myself. That's why I'm asking you.
Yeah.
Because I know if I would have gone back and said, "Oh, you were fighter of the year this year. You beat this guy," and everybody said you, and I went back and revered myself for all the things that I had done. I don't know if I would have had the fire I needed, the chip on my shoulder that I made up that I needed to get the next thing. And so I'm always in the question of man, did I not? Because I'm trying to look back now and accept it. But even now it's hard. And so when is it enough? I'm asking you from my own question, because I don't want to look on I don't want to be on my deathbed and be like, "Oh, wow, you did do some great things." When is it okay to look and give yourself credit?
I'll be on me.
Without being egotistical.
Me, I would tell any person, every person, especially with kids, like I said, someone needs fuel to fire, right? I say this even when people that work for me, whatever, if we do something scoring big and they're patting themselves on the back, I'm going to pat them, and I'm going to stop them. It's not over.
Yeah.
That's one win. Mm-hmm. We have a million more to go.
So it's about accepting it, giving credit to it, but just not too long.
But that's going to drive you. That's going to push you.
Right.
Because if I tell my kids, at a young age, that they're doing these big accolades like I did, and their friends or people they're around are not giving that energy, and they say it, maybe when they look at it and inspire themselves, they can inspire their kids or their friends or other people to say, "Oh, they did it, I can do it also." So that's kind of like that competition type of deal, friendly competition type of deal, where I need them to challenge themselves to do more.
So how do you challenge yourself physically this day and age?
Physically is the easy one.
Really? That's the easiest thing for you to challenge for yourself?
Physically is a mindset now. I mean, in great shape. I travel so much. I do everything physically.
Yeah, traveling and being fit is a whole nother
It is a whole
thing.
nother word. And I can't be fake about it because I'm not packing meals. I'm not doing this and drinking 20 gallons of water if I'm on a plane that, it's just not happening. So I have to listen to my body. When I'm traveling 18 hours, I'm not getting off the plane going to a gym. My body's like, you're not doing that to me. You're going to be I'm going to put you in a bad situation if you try to do that to me. Right? So now I have to be very realistic, but when I do get to train, or when I train, I have to know what my body wants me to do and how I need to do it. Now I train hard. That's a fact. I've always have, even as a youngster, but now it's on a different mindset. So I have to have that body-mind connection. But I tell people, and it goes back to you with fighting and everybody else actually in the world, is 90% is what you eat. That other 10% is what you give back, right? When I say I use food, even military, I started something called Cooking to Cope, which means that I use food for holistic medication, for love. I used it for everything you need to know, but also I brought it back to family, because a lot of military guys and even people in general, they seclude themselves if they have things going on, and they seclude their families. Their kids, their wives, their husbands. You got to bring all that in together and do it as a family, and that has a whole nother different aspect to it.
There's a lot of things that, I find the same in just success that you're looking to create. And we're in two different avenues. You're a chef and I fight people, but the things that are similar are you're tapping into giving to something bigger than yourself to find success. You're tapping into almost like, this is my interpretation of it. It's not factually this way, but it's like a little bit of fear, like I need to be more because I did that, but I can get more and there can be more. And so a little bit of fear to like stroke the chip on the shoulder, not give myself too much credit, because if I do, then I'll be everything. I'll already be enough and then I won't need to get more, but also giving myself the pat on the back, but also using a little bit of the chip on the shoulder. And these are things that in fighting are essential, is to find that balance of both. Like, how do I give myself credit, but also beat myself up? And this is the reason why I'm saying this is because it's not about what you're doing. There's parallels in everything for success. These are things that made you successful at the highest level in a saturated market, is looking for something bigger than yourself, tapping into it, using your pain and the trauma that you've had as flavoring to add flavor to who you are, and then give it away to other people so that it doesn't eat you alive. And this is something that I had to do as well in order to just move through the demons, right? And what I'm hearing is also similar is the way you exercise gets rid of these demons. The way the pain you put yourself through in the gym, doing 2,000 push-ups, 2,200 push-ups a day or whatever for awareness. What is that for? Why do you have the power to do it? To give back. So I think that the reason I wanted to say all this is it's a superhuman quality to be able to use pain, which could be a very okay thing, to be a victim of the pain and just sit there, but to use that to give it away and to empower, and you end up getting from it. Look at you. Like all the pain you went through, you didn't choose to sit in it and victimize yourself. You chose to say, okay, how do I make a difference for the world? And it made you buffer. It made you bigger. It made you find different ways to connect. Your social media grew bigger than it ever grew when you made that decision. And when I'm listening to you, this is what I notice is what makes you different. It's not because you cook well. It's not because you got the biggest biceps in the world. It's not because you got great style. It's not because of your medals. It's you've chosen a formula for success that is about outward focus from trauma. And guess what? Trauma is never ending fuel.
That's true.
And it's super interesting to listen to how you've been successful. And thanks for sharing all that, because you've been through hell, man. Losing a child, that's got to arguably one of the toughest things in the world. And you're still ticking, you're still going, and it's just 2 years ago. So man, I hope you give yourself some credit for that, because if nothing else, that's one of the biggest things you deserve to give yourself some love for, bro. I wanted to ask you, like, when it comes to to like serving like 10,000 people. We're serving it in DC, you know, like you're not just serving the president, you're serving how many people plus the president?
That was depending
there's been 3 different times. You got Bill Clinton, you got Barack Obama, and you got Trump, right?
True.
Those are the 3 that you've served for, right?
And Bush as well.
And Bush as well. So 4, excuse me. And so between all 4, what would you say? Like, did you have to be different for each one? Was it like each presidency, you needed to show up different, you needed to cook different, you needed like...
It's got to be so... Everybody's different.
Right.
And everybody wants something different. Everybody wants to put a mark on what it is. I tell people it's like energy. When you come in, you know, you can command the whole presence of the whole entire room or the whole entire White House because I want X, Y, and Z. So people ask all the time, like, what do they eat? But I tell people, you got to understand, everywhere they go, someone's trying to feed them and they're trying to impress them. And it has a lot of butter,
exactly.
It has a lot of creams, it has a lot of this. So sometimes, most of the time, including myself, I just want to be normal. So when people talk about, you know, Trump eating burgers or him eating tacos, and no part of it is just his lifestyle. It's what he's did. It's his comfort food. You know, a lot of it, like even with Clinton, he had the burgers also, but social media wasn't in that stage at the time. So a lot of things are very comfort, but, you know, they also have levels of what you want, you know, like Obama's, President Obama and his wife, they had the garden. They want to just go out and show appreciation for food and lifestyles, whatnot. A lot of other ones, they
like
didn't
different
want that.
foods.
Exactly.
Okay.
Like make it a spread, make it pretty, make it nice, make it amazing.
So for him, for Obama, it might have been like 4 or 5 different ethnicity style foods type of thing. Is that what you mean?
It could be more than that. Yeah, it could be a lot of different.
Wow.
Ways. Yeah.
And you have to know all these different. You got to know a good Chinese food. You got to know a good Greek food. You got to know a good American food. You got like, is that what you're saying? Like
so much so. Yeah.
And then how does one go about? I mean, dude, it's such a tall order. Let's be honest. All right, I'm just picturing myself. Okay, it's the highest table in the world, and they tell you how many people you got to serve. Right, that changes it. And then they tell you what they want, or do you just got to guess and know?
No. It's actually a lot of things are done 6 to 12 months ahead of time.
Okay.
You know, especially if you're doing a state, dinners, or you're doing the whole big things for the parties or whatnot in comparison to them on a personal level. But people always want to know strategically, of course, it can't tell, but how it comes in, no one knows, you know, because you can't just say, oh, I'm getting some food for the White House. Oh, I'm bringing it over for this and that. No matter who the vendor is or how it is, everything has to be kind of like a, what word can I say? Like a transaction that no one knows about, right? So everything has to come into little pieces, and they have connections for it, whether it be directly or saying, let's do this or make up something, and they'll get approved or how it is.
There's a lot of middlemen that you got to approve everything with, but it takes so long. You got 6 months to do it.
Yeah, I mean, you got to think also about people who are vegetarians, vegans, right. You know, gluten-free, people who have religious preferences. You got to think about all these things. And so I'm an estate manager, so I do the things that teach people what to do and what not to do, when to jump in, what would offend people, if you're looking at them straight in the eye, if it's a man, woman. It's so many different things that people don't think about compared to the food. That's the real things behind it.
Okay, so this is, you got to the top of the game. They already know you're the best, otherwise you're not cooking for the president multiple times, right? All right, you're the guy. Now we're in a competition where you're a guy with a guy or a guy with a girl, you know, you're, whether it's a girl or a guy, beside the fact I'm saying you two are the one, right? They don't care that you cook for the president. Now they're there to beat you. Are there any like real beefs in cooking that you've had where you're like,
all beefs?
No, like I'm
like chefs are crazy,
right? But like where it's like, I will fuck you up.
No, it's
like
really,
I will really break your fucking arm. Like, is it like that? Like you're gonna fight him and hit him with a roller or something?
Well, that was kind of me in the past. You know, I was pretty aggressive. You know, especially in competition, we'll do the stuff where I'll look at it, smash it, and like, get another one. You know,
yeah, no, I see the video.
No, it's like,
but those are videos, right? I'm talking. You're
I'm talking real life.
No,
real
okay,
life. Real
yeah,
life.
you're
like
not
the
playing.
real thing, like where we're competing against each other. You know, I was on the Olympic team, so we competed over
on the Olympic team for what?
Culinary.
Okay.
So every 3 years, it's just a culinary. It's
awesome.
One of the most amazing things you can see in the world.
Wow.
In Luxembourg, every 3 years, the Espagat. First competition
I didn't even know that existed.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Cooking in the Olympics.
In the Olympics.
What do you
every
like,
country over the world.
What the hell?
It-
And you were one. What did you place?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, no, of course.
What did you get in the
Well,
Olympics
it's
for
a
cooking?
team. It's a team.
Okay.
Where we do it. I was on the.
He said, "Of course." Come on.
Oh,
What
he
else
said,
would I
"Look,
do?
well, of course. But it's what was so great about it. You get to compete against every country and persons from all over the world, from every south, west, east, north. From Asia to Europe to Mexico, France. Everybody comes there, and it's just the biggest competition where you could possibly think of, where everybody shows their skill sets, whether it be live, whether it be static, or whether it be I'm a master ice carver also. So
Yeah,
we have
yeah.
the demo parts of
I
it.
saw that too.
The
You see,
chocolatier.
what are you not a master at, man? Sheesh. You could probably read a map too, can't you?
Of course, I read maps.
Nobody can,
I'm in the military.
nobody can read
why
a map.
you- That's number one, right?
Listen, that is the one tool I need to learn is how to
I
read a
forgot.
damn
Yeah,
map.
maps.
You know how hard that is? Like without my phone, I'm lost. That's
Everyone is.
90% of
Don't
us
feel
these
bad.
days.
I mean, a lot of people don't know what dial phones are now.
But like, how do that's a lot, man.
Yeah.
You've done a lot of crazy shit, and then to cook in the Olympics. And how did you place there?
I got
Well, it was a team thing. I hear that, but how did you guys do as a team?
3 golds and 1 silver,
Wow,
which is a really big deal.
I would think so.
Yeah.
I mean, that's Olympics world.
Yeah.
It's in the whole world, and we're talking about cooking. So, what do you think with the competition? Have you ever actually fought somebody like after or before, like gotten into a scrap with somebody because of cooking?
Like actual fight?
Yeah, like a
nobody's
real, like,
gonna
yeah.
fight me. I was pretty angry. I'm not like I am now.
Well, that's why I'm asking. Like, I'm really
I'm a lot
curious.
more. I'm like sensei now.
I
right?
know I got to do a world tour with Chef Irvine, and Irvine's a little bit,
I know
bit
Irvine.
scrappy.
I know
Irvine's a
Irvine
little
very well.
scrappy. You know, Irvine, you guys got a beef too?
No, no. Matter of fact, you know what? This year we actually
I
me and him
like
are
Irvine.
teaming
He's
together
great.
to do the 9/11. We're doing a
Yes.
tribute cooking. He's gonna cook one part. I'm gonna cook one part and do a
Oh, really? You guys are working together? Shout out
yeah,
Irvine.
yeah,
I got to do a USO tour with him. Went to 9 different countries, nine days. It was intense, but he cooked amazing meals
Yeah.
while we were on the plane, when we landed, and gave it to the veterans. So that's what I think about is like, man, he was an intense dude
Yeah, he's
too.
intense.
Like he reminded me a little bit of you. You guys are going to be good partners.
yeah.
So, all right. I mean, we're almost done, and I wanted to, finish with like, what is it that you want to create next, considering you haven't looked at all the things you have created. So there's no point for you. You just want to keep going. You're not looking back. I get that. I do hope eventually you take a moment, because I don't know when it's ever going to end for you.
True.
And, for me, it's a little easier. I said, okay, when I retire, I'll do it. And I'm going to tell you right now, looking back, I still don't want to. And it's because it's hard to receive the pat on the back. So what's next? What else do you get to create? I mean,
I'll be honest with you. There's, it's only been 2+ years for me doing all I've done. With the TV shows, I'm a world-renowned speaker. I speak all over the world. I consult with, some of the top billion, 1% companies. I've just been so blessed to create companies and do this fun content on the world where I get kids. So whatever he says and whatever direction he says, that's what I'm going to do. But, of course, whatever I do is going to always be involved with kids, with the military, mental health, suicide. So that's my spot that I won't waver on that part of it. So I want to do more on that part of it, especially, I'm actually making a line of I love animals. So I'm making a line of dog food.
healthy dog food?
Healthy
Like,
dog food.
all right, I'm big on animals.
Yeah,
too,
I
so-
was trained service dogs.
Yeah,
right, in
you
military.
do train them.
I train them in the military.
Oh,
So when I get out the military, train service dogs. Huge animal fan. So when they came to me, my partners came to me and said, "What do you want to create? What kind of food? What kind of healthy product?" I was like, "I
That's
want
definitely
animals."
a gap.
Yeah,
That's a gap. There's
Animals.
not a lot of healthy like food for dogs that I feel like we're set up to kill them early.
Yeah,
Food that
true. Yeah, exactly. That's the
now
whole
you're
point.
trying something different. I'm
Yeah.
interested in that for
Yeah.
sure. And never any future of a boxing match and a celebrity boxing match.
Oh yeah,
or something.
absolutely, absolutely.
Has that ever been offered to you?
I wish it would.
Well, I'm asking now just because I know some people.
Yeah.
And I would love to see like a cook-off, fight-off.
Oh, you know what? That's different. That's a
would
niche
be
right there.
Awesome.
That's
Like, I
2
would
and
love
1
to-
right there.
Yeah,
I can
that's
take
what I
that.
mean. Like first you build up the attention and see who's the better cook, and then you talk shit the entire
I would
cook.
talk so much shit.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm
and
the
then
shit
at the end of that, you try to get in their head, and we'll see what happens in the fight.
I'll be having to
But
ask-
who would be the one if you had one chef that you think could do that, would do that, possibly? There's got to be one person in the world that you think might have the goal to take one with you.
You know what? I might
Like that.
say who? Maybe I think Robert might try it.
Irvine, huh?
He might
See,
think
he's
about
feisty.
it. He might think about
I'm
it.
telling you right now.
I think he'll change his mind real quick though, but I think he'll think about it.
He's a feisty one.
He is a feisty one.
All right, so Chef Irvine, I want to see it.
Right? Done deal.
Let's see that. We'll see it. We got my guy. I'll get a hold of some of my fight promoter friends, and we'll see if we can slide a little celebrity boxing match chef off in there. That would be amazing.
That would be amazing.
It's been fun talking to you, man. And
You as well.
You know, I think my biggest takeaways from this is the similarities of being a chef and being a fighter isn't what we do for work. It's how we found success in each avenue. That's a saturated market, so that if anybody listens, they can hear, all right, what market am I in? Is it saturated? How do I stand apart? I think everything you've shared can be used in any facet that you're in. It's work harder. It's use your trauma to give it away and give more than you've been in pain. And number one that I take away from you is you have a lot more to give than any of the things that have happened to you.
True.
And that means that they've happened for you, and you've been able to just flip it. And respect for that, because the hell you've been through with the child and everything else, man. Thank you for sharing that. And I think you're going to empower a lot of people mentally for how tough you've risen through it all.
Appreciate you, brother.
Lots of love.
Lots of love. All love.